It's time for Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network. Tiger Talk, live from Tiger Club inside the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State Campus, is brought to you by these premier Tiger sponsors. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, banking one story at a time. The Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, expertise, technology, compassion, all right here. BTI, your John Deere dealer with locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family in partnership with your family. Eagle Radio, Hull Broadcasting, and HayesPost.com, keeping our community connected. And The Taco Shop. Order by phone or use the Taco Shop app. Dine in, pick up, or delivery. The Taco Shop. You've never had it so good. Now, Tiger Talk with the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Wellbrock.
And good afternoon and welcome into Tiger Talk. We are live at the Robins Center inside the Fort Hays State University campus. Certainly glad to have you with us here today as we talk some Fort Hays State athletics. We'll be talking men's soccer. Alex Nichols will be joining us here in just a little bit. Of course, volleyball with Jessica Wood-Atkins and football with head coach Chris Brown as we get ready for a busy weekend. About everybody's going to be in action this weekend. Of course, football will be at home on Saturday night against the Missouri Western State Griffins. Volleyball gets the regular season started. They're heading out to Colorado. We'll get a preview of the 2024 Mountain Lion Classic. Women's tennis at the Bethany Invite Friday and Saturday. Cross country, JK Gold Classic hosted by Wichita State Saturday morning. Men's and women's soccer gets started tomorrow. They'll both be at home for a doubleheader. So a lot of sports to choose from as we get the fall semester under full swing. Again, we're live at the Robins Center located on the Fort Hays State University campus. Tiger Club is part of the show, so we certainly invite you to join Tiger Club. Your fee goes toward athletic scholarships at Fort Hays State. You can come out and join the show in person, take part of the Tiger Club meetings, meet some of the student athletes the coaches bring along. It's always a fun time on Wednesday, and certainly invite you to do that. But if you can't, we're obviously glad to have you with us here on the radio. And if you miss any part of the program, we'll have it rebroadcast on Hayes Post. Right now, we're going to take a break, but before we do that, again, we'll remind you, send in a question. We've got a few in-house questions we'll get to a little bit later on in the program, but you can go online, go to the Fort Hays State Athletics website, click on Fans. You'll get that drop down there in the very bottom. You'll see Ask the Coach. Send us your question. I'll try to keep a track on my phone if you send it during the show so we can get to that. And you can win yourself a T-shirt from Fort Hays State Athletics. Right now, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to talk some men's soccer. New coach Alex Nichols will join us. We'll do that next, right here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
He bobbles into the 10-5, touchdown.
Into the edge, and Hayes High's going to win this football game. Johnny Rigler is on the spot.
Fire up the three, and they can hold us and swirls.
Launches a three, bang, nothing but net.
It's dropped in left field, and we are tied as 5 touchdowns.
He didn't get down. Hayes High wins in overtime.
Dawson to throw, swing pass, caught by Shane Watts. He makes a man miss. He makes another miss. He's got a first down, and now up to near numbers 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, dive to the end zone. Touchdown, Fort Hays State. That's some of the action from Friday afternoon in the Tigers' season opening win over number 24 Angelo State. We'll talk some football with Coach Chris Brown a little bit later on in the program. Need to remind you, the Kansas Department of Transportation and the Drive to Zero Coalition invite you to join Fans with a Plan. If you're going to be drinking, always designate a sober driver. We're going to talk that other football right now. Men's soccer coach Alex Nichols with us, and we had a chance to get to meet you last year in the spring after you were hired. Now you're in season, and I think we asked you then about the whole process and getting acclimated. How are things gone? And I guess as we just talked about, maybe check with you in a day or so as your season starts, but how's the whole process gone so far in preseason camp and getting ready for your opener tomorrow?
Good. You know, we have a lot of new faces. We have about 28, 29 brand new guys, and so we're still only 21 days in, and It seems like just yesterday. So we've got a lot to learn, but we're very excited about all of our guys, and they're working hard. We're a little beat up, but we've got a good unit, and we've got a good group of student athletes, and we're excited about tomorrow.
With so many new faces, how do you even go about, I mean, in a short period of time, getting everybody gelled and just to become one cohesive unit? That's kind of daunting in a way.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I'm not sure if I've had the answer for that. We'll know tomorrow. So after you see that result, you'll know if I figured that out or not. But no, the guys are gelling together, and they're a great group of guys, and they're doing good on and off the field with each other, and they're acclimating really well. So they're moving at a quick pace, and we're really excited about them. I mean, we're probably the newest team in D2 with all the new faces, but everybody's acclimating quickly, and everybody's interrelating really well and getting to know each other on and off the field. So,
and soccer's become such an international sport with players from everywhere. I mean, how do you even go about that with the language, and then you're a new coach, new system, bringing that many guys in at one time? How do you even go about just starting this whole thing off and getting everybody on the same page?
Well, the beauty is we've got so many. It's honestly a positive having so many guys from different states or different countries, because nobody's playing the exact same way that they're used to. Everybody's got similarities, everybody's got differences, but everybody's adapting in some way to what we do. So it's there's a give and take with every single player, and I think since everybody's sacrificing in some way and adapting and acclimating in some way, it's similar in some senses. And so everybody's doing a good job of finding their niche within our system, and we're looking good so far.
Let's talk about your team a little bit. I mean, you look at the roster, and you said a lot of new faces. You got a blend of veteran with youth, but it looks to be a pretty veteran squad. Maybe just go down the roster a little bit and just some of the highlights and what to be looking for the fans this year.
Yeah, well, it's kind of an interesting team because we have a lot of older guys and a lot of younger guys. So the middle guys is what we don't have a lot of. But we've got a lot of experience and then a lot of youth. But they're all pretty intelligent and doing a good job. And the student athlete that's with me here today, if we win tomorrow, I'll give him some credit, and if we lose tomorrow, I'll have to hassle him in front of all these
there you go.
all these people. So no pressure to Jeremiah. Nothing like a coach to put it on a single player.
Yeah, in front of everybody.
Yep.
But we have total faith he'll get the job done.
Yeah.
Pick third in the GAC MIAA, and I know a lot of that's based on years prior with so many new faces. It's hard, you just never know what everybody gets, but it's always been a competitive conference. Just your outlook on league play once you get to that point in the season.
Yeah, I think everybody's still figuring out what their team is, and nothing happens in the first game. It's definitely a process. But what we're hearing, every team is looking pretty good, and Rogers State and Southern Naz have been the top two as of recent, and then Fort Hays, Northeastern, and Newman's looking to have a very good team this year. But I think everybody's looking to be very competitive for this upcoming season, and from what you hear, the coaches are all excited about their recruiting classes.
Right.
But nobody knows anything until you get into the games and start scrapping.
Tell us about your style of play. What's a typical Alex Nichols team look like, and what's the style of play you hope to have out there night in and night out?
Yeah, it's going to be aggressive. I mean, it's a very defense-first type of system, and we've got a lot of offensive talent, but we focus a lot on defense. So it's going to be a high press type of system, and we hope to have a lot of success and score a lot of goals. I don't think fans love seeing 0-0 scores, and coaches don't either. At least this coach here doesn't. There's nothing that excites me about a 0-0 tie. So I like seeing the 0 on one part. I was a goalkeeper once upon a time. And we don't like conceding, but we need to put the balls in the back of the net, and we'll be aggressive, and hopefully the ball bounces the right way. Fingers crossed.
As you say, the kind of that defensive minded first. Is that an adjustment for some players to have to do that, or is that pretty typical?
It's an adjustment for pretty much every
right.
player and what we do, but they're all up to the task, and they're all working really hard, and if they're willing to work hard, which they are, they're already showing big strides. Mm-hmm. And so we're excited about what we're able to do. There's just a lot to still learn. 21 days is quick.
It goes fast, and the season starts tomorrow. Rockhurst will be in town, and we were talking earlier. I don't know last time Fort Hays State had a doubleheader in men's and women's soccer. I know when they opened the facility they did, but the men will go tomorrow at 3, Rockhurst. The women will then play tomorrow evening at 7. They open their season with CSU Pueblo, so should be a fun day of soccer to get the season started at home. Maybe a preview on Rockhurst. I know they've always been competitive. It's been years ago. They've had some NCAA tournament matchups here to determine who moves on to the Elite Eight and different things. But maybe a little bit of a preview on what you're going to see tomorrow with the Tigers and Rockhurst Hawks.
Yeah, it's going to be it's definitely going to be an aggressive game. We've got a lot of respect for their coaches, who I know well, and their players. They're returning a good amount of their guys, and they're expecting to be a top 4 team probably in the GLVC and back to a very quality competitive team. Of course, they're always competitive.
Right.
Fort Hays is always competitive, so. You have an idea that it's always going to be a good, intense match, and I expect nothing different for the match tomorrow. So we have a lot of respect for them, but we're certainly excited about our guys and what they can do. So we will see.
And you play that, you get on the bus, you head to Kansas City, you host Upper Iowa. That'll be at Children's Mercy Victory Field at Slope College Village. That'll be fun. You'll have a couple of matches there this year.
Yeah, we play Upper Iowa and Maryville, and Upper Iowa is going to be a really competitive team, and Maryville, for the last 5 years has been pretty much ranked in the top 5 or 10 every year. So. And that's what we want. We want to play good opponents, right off the bat, because, the quicker we learn, you learn the best by playing the top dogs. And so if we want to be the best, we've got to beat the best. And so we're excited to, learn more about ourselves with all these non-con matchups to help us get ready for conference. But one game at a time, and we got to take care of business tomorrow, and then I'll start stressing that about Upper Iowa, and then we take care of that, and we start stressing about Maryville. So,
absolutely.
Yep. So I'll take a big, deep breath here in about, hopefully 4 months.
That sounds good. Well, hopefully it's going to be a good 4 months. Alex, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much for joining us. Looking forward to the new season, and good luck tomorrow on the opener.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
There you go, Alex Nichols, head men's soccer coach at Fort Hays State. Again, a reminder, that's a men's and women's doubleheader, if you will. Men at 3 o'clock. The women and CSU Pueblo will get underway at 7. Tiger Talk brought to you today by Golden Belt Bank. Your life has a story. Golden Belt Bank wants to get to know that story. Golden Belt Bank of Hays and Ellis. Visit them at goldenbeltbank.com. We'll talk some volleyball. Head coach Jessica Wood-Adkins joins us after the break on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
Being a foster grandparent has definitely given me a purpose in life.
Just been so happy, just so much more energy than being at home alone doing nothing but watching TV. It's the best part of my life.
Best part of being a foster grandparent volunteer, watching the light up in the kids' eyes.
I'm living again, and the foster grandparent did that for me.
Trevor Watts, Ryan Allen, wide receivers left side. Jabari Lewis to the right. Nope, that's Jaden Horace. There's a pass across the middle. It's caught by Allen. Touchdown! Fort Hays State. Ryan Allen, the sophomore from Highlands Ranch, Colorado. Yeah, nice catch there by Ryan Allen. Got the Tigers' second touchdown. They went on to win over Angelo State. We'll talk more about that with head coach Chris Brown coming up in just a little bit. Tiger Talk today brought to you by BTI. They're your John Deere dealer. Locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family in partnership with your family. Talking some volleyball with head coach Jessica Wood-Adkins. Tigers gearing up to start their season this weekend, heading out to the Mountain Lion Classic, hosted by UC Colorado Springs. Before we get to that, I know you've been asked a bajillion times, but we drive in and we see the lifts being loaded onto trailers. Looks like you're going to get a move back into your home here soon.
Yes, it would appear that way. No, they took all the plywood off and a lot of the underlay on Friday, and yes, I broke protocol and snuck in under that caution tape and looked over that court about 12 times. But yeah, like we had a good talk, and it's not the final say, it's not the final inspection, but
right.
We saw enough to know that the court is playable for our tournament, and so we will be hosting our tournament.
Very
at home
good.
next week.
Yeah, next
Hooray.
week. Yeah, it'll be good. Yeah, great news for everybody involved in that one. And we'll talk more about that next week. You're, I guess, almost ready to start the new season. Since we talked to you last week, how's practice gone? And you feel everybody's ready to go for this first one?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're looking pretty good. We had our black and gold scrimmage on Friday, and we paired the teams pretty evenly. I was pretty pleased with that, especially after the football reschedule. We had a pretty good crowd there, a little over, probably about 120 people that came. So thanks to everybody that came. But yeah, I think the girls are looking good. They're pretty jazzed. They're ready to get on the road and get playing. Just like soccer, we've been together about 20 days. We're tired of beating up on each other. We're ready to take that out on somebody else.
I mean, obviously, the grind of that, and I'm guessing there's a little bit too. I mean, you start to – the person you're going against, you start knowing what they do. I mean, you practice with them every day, and so there comes a point, I mean, you need to start facing other competition. And the preseason's about as long as it needs to be, I'm sure.
Exactly.
We did have one question from the audience with the new rule change, wanting to know if you'll be using 2 liberos this season.
I think it will depend on the competition, but it's pretty likely we'll be using the 2 libero rule. I don't know that we're going to use it in the standard sense because the idea with the second libero is that if your first one's struggling, you put the next one in, be it on serve receive or on defense. But our number 2 is too good to have sitting on the sideline. We need them both on the court. That's the reality. But what we can do is designate somebody who can go in and serve for one of our middles. So both liberos can actually serve.
Okay.
And so that should help significantly. We don't have to depend on one of our 6'4" girls to go in and play defense. So we'll probably use it in that regard.
Any other big rule changes at all this season?
The double contact rule is a big change. I know we've talked about that, which they can still call the double contact, but they will only call it if you are taking the ball across the net to the opponents. And so yeah, there's going to be a lot more scramble plays. The refs aren't going to stop it nearly as often in the middle. But those are the 2 big rule changes.
I guess that's to create more offense probably, I'm assuming. I don't know.
I think the refs
or
are
make it
tired
easier
of
on the
hearing about it.
officials.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Maybe they're tired of hearing from coaches. That's probably what.
Most people are.
Let's just change the rule.
Fine,
They
it's
eliminate
fine.
it.
Yeah.
It's the same for everybody, so it'll certainly be an adjustment. All right, let's talk about this weekend. Heading out to Colorado Springs, the Mountain Lion Classic. UC Colorado Springs. You touched on a little bit last week. You're only playing 3 matches. Fort Smith, I believe, is there as well.
Correct.
So you get a chance to watch them a little bit, especially being a new MIAA member, kind of learn about them. But University of Mary, UC Colorado Springs on Friday, and then Cameron on Saturday. Looks like some pretty good competition out of the gate for your gals.
I think it will be. 3 regional opponents, which is good for us. We're kicking off with a Northern Sun School, and they're very similar to the MIAA. You've got to come ready. But, yeah, I think it'll be good competition for us, and I think given that we're probably going to have a few young pups on the court, I think it'll be good that we're not traveling too far and kind of get them a chance to get in front of that. And we also have 2 Colorado kids on the team, so we're expecting a pretty good fan base there, which will be nice as well.
It's always fun when they can go back to their home state and play. And you mentioned the young kids. I was going to ask you about that. How have they progressed so far through camp and just all the competition you've had so far? And I mean, you can practice all you want. It's not like game day. I mean, it's a whole different feel. But how do you feel about them and just their roles on this team this season?
I'm pretty pleased so far. I think that they got tested a little bit when we went to Kearney and we scrimmaged Mines, Colorado School of Mines and Metro, who are both very good programs, and they held their own. Typically freshmen that first week, they have 1 day on, 1 day off. They're on a one-on-one schedule. They've kind of shifted to the 2-and-1 now.
Good.
Which is good. But I think, we've got some tough kids. Like they've come in trained. They've played at quality programs and winning programs, so they know how to handle a little bit tough of competition, and they don't get rattled when I get on them. And so I think I'm excited for what they're going to bring.
Anybody surprised you so far in the preseason, or maybe anything about this team that has surprised you a little bit, but maybe for the good or the negative, either way, I guess?
I will say for the good, they're making it tough to make some decisions for our starting squad. They're making it really, really tough, and a few of them are coming down to a feather. But a pleasant surprise, I would say, our defenders are littles are looking really good. Delaney Gish out of Colorado Springs, we had intended to redshirt, and I think she's going to see the court. And little Haley Wolf out of Omaha has been pushing our libero spot. And so to have 2 rookies coming in and doing that is significant.
Well, that competition's so important. I mean, you see it in other sports. I mean, when you have someone driving to get a starting or whatever it is, it just makes whoever is the starter better, and that just makes for a whole better team.
Exactly. We are getting better by the day. I will say that our practices have not been stale. Even though they're getting used to each other and each other's tendencies, that's actually forcing them to better their own game in order to score. And so I think it's been a healthy and productive mix.
All right. It's almost here. Friday, you get it started in Colorado. Hopefully get off to a good start against some good competition, and we'll talk all about that next week and then preview your own classic at Gross Memorial Coliseum. That'll be fun.
Yes, sir. Ready or not.
Here we come. There you go. Jessica Wood-Atkins, head volleyball coach at Fort Hays State. We will tell you all 3 matches will be streamed on the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference Network. So if you go to the Fort Hays State website and pull up the volleyball schedule, there's a link on the very right, tournament homepage. Click on that, and then you'll see each individual match, and they'll have a link to the live stream. It looks like as of now, it's a free web stream as of this morning. That could change, but it'll be through the RMAC network. But go to the Fort Hays State volleyball team website and click on tournament homepage if you want to watch the Tigers this weekend in Colorado. You can look your best on Tiger Game Day with official Nike gear from BSN Sports and the Sideline Store. Go to the Fort Hays State Athletics website at fhsuathletics.com. Click on Shop. You'll find hundreds of products and designs, and every item is customizable. Go to fhsuathletics.com, click on Shop, then open up the Tiger Team Store and look great on game day. We'll take a break. When we come back, Chris Brown, head football coach, joins us on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
That was another legend on 99 KZ Country. And yes, before that, we had a brand new artist. Your home for today's stars and the legends. We play real country. I'm Teresa Trapp. Weather, news, sports, it's all here. We're on Facebook, and there is a listen live link at hayspost.com. Dial us in on your radio at 99.5 FM. KHAZ, real country. 99 KZ Country.
Now Angelo first and 10. They hand it up to Wilcox. He fumbles. Picked up by Fort Hays State. Ty Cooper has it, and the Tigers get their first takeaway. They'll have it at the Angelo State 14-yard line. Yeah, some of the action from Friday afternoon. Fort Hays State knocking off number 24 Angelo State, 21-7 at Lewis Field. Now gearing up for week 1, second game of the year of the season as they host the Missouri Western State Griffins. Tiger Talk this afternoon brought to you by the HaysMed Orthopedic Institute, the most comprehensive orthopedic care in Western Kansas. Let the experts at HaysMed Orthopedic help you move freely. Learn more at haysmed.com/orthopedics. We're joined by head football coach Chris Brown. We heard that highlight there. I think it was Benny Williams who created that fumble. He's your player guest in the audience today. The MIAA's Defensive Player of the Week. He had, 11 tackles, forced a fumble. I think Ryan Prickett, Sports Information Director, broke it down well. Like 6 of the 11 tackles came on or for a gain of a yard or less. 5 of them came on third down, and 4 of those 5 you forced Angelo State into to punt. We knew he had a big day, but he had a really, really big game, and honored by the conference. Always nice to have someone in week 1 honored by the MIAA.
It really is. He's a tremendous player. Does everything you ask him to do. Puts extra time in the film room as well, trying to prepare himself for each football game. He's a young man that practices very, very hard, and communicates well with his teammates too. So he's just a great kid to have on the team. He does everything you ask him to do, does it the right way. Great leadership skills as well with the young guys, trying to get them to learn what we're doing, defensively, and even the transfers coming in as well. But he's a great team guy, and he loves his teammates. He's going to do everything he can to help this team win.
And we're glad to have him here with us in the audience today. All right, 21-7, you beat the number 24 team in the country, Angelo State. And like every game, there's some good, there's some bad, especially week 1. But just your overall thoughts on the win on Friday afternoon.
It was a good win for us, except for the 3 unsportsmanlike penalties that we had. But those come at times, with kids just, overexcited, not being disciplined, doing what you're asked them to do. But, I thought we played well. There's still some things offensively we could have done. There's a couple passes there that were just short of where they needed to be or a little bit long, and we didn't catch those and get the first down. And then defensively, that the one big play that they had offensively and then scored, the shutout would have been really, really nice if we would have stopped that. But I thought our kids played well. I thought they played hard. I thought they played more physical in the second half as well. But, that was a good football team that we just played and helped us get into the rankings as well.
All right. You kind of lead to an audience question we have, and it dealt with the penalties. What will you do for players to have the discipline to cut down on those penalties, especially? There's going to be penalties, but the personal fouls. What do you do? How do you address that and try to alleviate that?
Just nice, friendly conversation
Sure.
Is usually how it goes. But just talking to the guys about the situations and the things that happen, on the field as well, and how it affects the game, and every Monday, or whether it was Saturday this week, we always do impact plays, and we put those plays on those impact plays to show, positive plays, negative plays, and the way those things can impact the game and hurt you in a bad way and put you in a bad spot, or if it's a good play, how it it positively affects the game as well. So just putting it up on the video screen so everybody can watch it and see the mistakes and see the good plays as well, so our kids can learn. But there's not a lot of punishment. I'm not going to sit there and run them in the ground and do all those things. It's going to be more talking to the young man about the situation and the hole it put his team in, and not being a selfish player. Because those are selfish mistakes, and that's not what kind of team that we have.
It was an interesting evening. Obviously, game scheduled for Thursday, and waited it out 3+ hours, and finally it was time to call it quits, and you came back on Friday morning. Obviously, the obvious question: how did that affect your team's play, do you feel? But what's it like? You're in the locker room, and there was a little bit of early pregame with some of the special teams, and the weather moved in. You had to go in the locker room, and just the Lightning would not move away. What's that like, just being pent up in the locker room that long, waiting for a decision, or to see if the weather is going to move through and you can play that night?
For the kids, it's really hard. As a coaching staff and administration and all that, we're trying to figure out whether we're going to play football or not, and that was most of our time, sitting in the training room with Nate Hepner, our head trainer, and Curtis and Matt and Brad and all of us and Keegan, trying to figure out, are we playing or not, and watching the storm roll through, and just trying to figure out, is this going to happen or not. And then they're going to get hungry at some point, so you got to find a way to try to feed them. So you're trying to find snacks and things like that, and different things to make sure they have energy to play the game if we do play. And then it gets to a point where safety becomes an issue, and it gets too late. Those kids aren't used to playing that late at night, and their body's not acclimated to those things. So you got to at some point call it, and we called it. But the next day was tough as well, because you got to talk about pregame meal and our chapel we do before that, so we have to do everything all over again, and then kind of get prepped for the game too. And you could feel we were a little sluggish in the first half just because of all the things that were going on. But I felt bad for them because they had to drive all the way to Salina and then come back for the game, on Friday. But I thought our kids handled it well. They did a good job and played really well in the second half.
Well, I can remember some season openers and home openers that have been delayed over the years, but I don't remember one being postponed ever, so kind of new territory for everybody. But you got the job done, and you got the 2 first-quarter touchdowns. It looked like you're off to the races, but as you said, it's a good football team, and they had one of the top defenses in the nation last year, and they made some adjustments and certainly made it a game. But good to see the offense get a couple of quick scores there in that first quarter to kind of take control, and then just able to maintain it the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah, they did a good job, and then really that fourth quarter drive where they took 5 minutes 11 seconds or something like that off the clock. That's huge for us, and I wish we could have got that first down. We're just inches away from getting it, but if we could have got that, we probably could have ran out the clock and finished the ball game. But no, Coach Ross did an excellent job with his play calling, mixing the pass and the run, and trying to get things going on both sides, and some misdirection stuff, some jet sweeps, which I think we haven't ran a jet sweep in a long time and got positive yards on. We're able to do that as well, but just get the ball in the right guy's hands and letting them go make plays. So, but no, I was proud of the way they played. Just got to solidify some blocks up front and make a few more catches and not turn the ball over. But I think both those turnovers were questionable in my eyes. I thought one was, forward progress had been stopped, and then the interception. I thought Kel came down with it as well. So, eliminate those two things, we might have a chance to score some more points.
Did you think about challenging the interception? And I know it's hard, and you got to always worry, is there a good camera angle to overrule it? Is that something you thought about at all?
Yeah, we did. The good thing, there was a pretty good delay at that point, and we have the iPads now, which is big for us, and we just didn't really have a good enough look to really see if we could challenge it or not. So with not being certain that we were going to be able to win the challenge. We didn't throw it, but it was in the back of my mind, but the film didn't show us what we needed to show.
All right, I was going to ask you a couple of things. You kind of touched on them. Coach Ross, first game, offense coordinator, quarterbacks coach. He's on the sideline. A lot of times you'll see the play caller up in the booth. How did that work, the communication with him and his first game at OC? And then you mentioned the iPad, something new. You're allowed to have those. How was that integrated on that first game on the sideline with everybody?
I thought Coach Ross did an excellent job, just, the way he handled himself as well, the communication amongst offense and defense. I mean, he did a really good job communicating, asking me questions as well, like, hey, we're going to go for it here, and, certain things like that. I was like, well, it depends on what the yardage is. And, just his communication was great, and him understanding the game, like how long has the defense been on the field, and kind of slowing it down so they could get some rest as well, because he's a team guy, and he did a really excellent job of really, doing the run and the pass, interchangeable with play actions and things like that, and some screen game too. So, I was really proud of him, the way he handled things, and you could tell he got upset with himself a few times with just calls that he made, and I was like, well, that wasn't too bad to me. But he's really hard on himself, which is what you want a coordinator to be. So he did an excellent job. But the iPads, they're awesome. They really, really are. They really help you, help your players, see things at that moment, because a coach upstairs can tell a coach downstairs on the dry erase board what's happening, but it doesn't really get relayed the way it's supposed to. But the iPads gives you the chance for our kids to actually see what the play is and what we're talking about as well.
You mentioned, whether to go for it on fourth down. You're defensive backs coach, you're a defensive guy, but you're the head coach also. Do you give him, overrule, or do you give him hey, you've got fourth down to go on this? Or is that just kind of in the flow of the game? How do you go about that if you want to go for it, or maybe he didn't, or vice versa? How does that get handled usually on game day?
I don't really talk to my D-backs too much, or my safeties too much on game day. It's a good thing I have my son Hunter to be there for me to go talk to those guys and Coach Harris, as well. So they want to keep me away from them as much as possible. But I'll say a few things as they're coming off the field. But most of the time when the offense is out there, I'm switched over to their side of the ball and listening and giving them input. Hey, we're going to go for, you can go for it here or not, or whatever it is. But I let him make the calls he needs to make. But when it comes to those fourth down situations, I got the final say on all that stuff.
All right, there you go. Tigers win it 21-7 over number 24 Angelo State. Coach mentioned earlier in the D2Football.com media poll. First time the Tigers have been ranked there since 2019. So good to see the Tigers back. I don't think there's a coaches poll out this week, because technically that was 0 week, and now we're in week 1. So that'll come out. Tigers are receiving votes in that first one, and now get set for another home game. Missouri Western comes to town. We'll preview the Griffins here in just a little bit, but first need to remind you that Tiger Athletics is proud to partner with the Kansas Drive to Zero Coalition and encourage you to join Kansas fans with a plan. Always have a designated driver or other sober ride to and from your destination. We'll take a break. When we come back, more with head football coach Chris Brown. You're listening to Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
When it comes to screen printing and embroidery, your first choice should be Redeem Designs in Hayes. Turn it up with Redeem Designs, where it's not just about the products, it's about the partnership. At Redeem Designs, you're part of the process. They work closely with you to ensure your vision comes to life. So turn up your 2024-25 season with Redeem Designs.
Handoff, Shane Watts, he goes into the end zone, he darts to the left and scores, touchdown, Fort Hays State. Shane Watts' second touchdown of the day, one through the air, that one on the ground, and it was Neville Brown, a backup offensive lineman who came in to line up as fullback to help lead the way, and it's 20-7 Fort Hays State. Yeah, Tigers win at 21-7 on Saturday, on the Friday afternoon to start the year 1-0. We'll play this Saturday. Missouri Western comes to town for a Saturday night game. Tiger Talk today brought to you by the Taco Shop. You can order by phone, use the Taco Shop app, dine in, carry out, pick up, delivery. They can do it all. They're just east of the Fort Hays State campus on 8th Street. The Taco Shop, you've never had it so good. Before we get into Missouri Western, I'll talk about the defense. He kind of touched on it a little bit. Gave up that one score when they brought in the backup quarterback, but looks like you guys adjusted well. Did a pretty good job of holding them at bay. They had that one drive kind of late. You got a big stop and got the ball back and then put it away with that long time-consuming drive. But a veteran defensive unit. It looks like by and large they all played pretty well on Friday afternoon.
They did do a good job, keeping everything in front of them. We didn't really, I'm not going to say it, give up the big play, but I hate saying that, knock on wood. So it's kind of one of those things that's our job, make them earn everything that they're going to get. And, that one drive where they went down and almost scored on the 4th down, I just felt like we got a little bit cautious, didn't play as hard, kind of lost a little bit of focus there. I wish we just would have finished it off with a 3-and-out or something, or got the ball back to our offense and hopefully gone down and score. But, we didn't do those things. But I thought overall defensively we played hard. Had a bunch of opportunities to get sacks that we didn't get. But we got a few of them, but we should have had a lot more than what we had. But I thought our kids played really, really physical in the second half, and that showed with the turnovers that we got and created in that second half.
All right, what do you look? There's always that adage: week 1 to week 2, football teams improve the most. I'm not know if that's true or not, but it seems there's always a lot of improvement. What areas are you looking to get better on Saturday night?
I think just overall focus, throughout the entire game, playing one play at a time, playing a little bit more grittier with a little bit more chip on our shoulder, a little more physical as well. Really dominate the line of scrimmages on both sides of the ball, and then offensively having some more explosive plays, and then defensively creating more turnovers is what we're looking for. So, and I think with this group of kids we can do those things because they're very talented. They're very strong as well, and that they love the game of football and they love one another as well. And their preparation right now is crazy. Just seeing the number of kids up in the offices right now just watching film together, like linebackers and secondary guys all watching film together, receivers, quarterbacks, running backs. All those guys are sitting in a room actually communicating and going through things and getting on the same page, so that we can go win this game hopefully on Saturday.
All right, Missouri Western, and if there's one team that's been a pain, it's the Griffins. You've beaten Northwest more, you've beaten Pittsburgh State more, you've beaten everybody else in the conference. Lost 5 in a row and 16 of 18 for the Griffins. Boy, for whatever reason, they have your number. Hopefully it turns around on Saturday, but they've been a tough challenge for you guys.
They have, and it's we really just haven't played well. A lot of turnovers in those games, pick sixes, blocked punts. You go back and look, at those years, just we really put ourselves in a hole, and we really hurt ourselves a lot in those football games. So hopefully it doesn't happen this week. And maybe those years past we didn't get better from week 1 to week 2, but now hopefully this really happens for us this week, and our guys take care of the ball offensively, and then defensively we create some turnovers, and we win the special teams battle. But they are a good football team. I know last week's game against Northeastern's really improved from where they have, and they came back and won that football game with a new quarterback and a couple new wide receivers. But the running back's back, who is a very, very talented young man. He sees holes well. He's very strong and athletic. And their defense does some great things too. So we just all got to be on the same page, play hard, play physical, and do our job, do our assignment, not worry about anybody else's job, just do our job, and I think we'll be okay.
And hopefully good crowd. It's kind of disappointing because you didn't get to play on Thursday, got moved to Friday. Great crowd considering all of that, but hopefully a big crowd, lots of students there, and make Lewisfield a tough place for the opponent to play Saturday night.
We need a big crowd. We love that energy that they bring to every single game, and that gives us energy and excitement as well, and it helps us play with more intensity. So come on out and see us.
All right, Coach, as always, we appreciate it. Great job last week, and looking forward to Saturday night with the Griffins at 7 o'clock.
Thanks, Gerard.
There you go. Head coach Chris Brown of the Fort Hays State Tigers. Again, it is a 7 o'clock kick from Lewis Field. We'll have our coverage on the Tiger Sports Network at 6 o'clock with the Tiger Tailgate Show presented by Auto World Used Cars. Special thanks to all of our guests for joining us today. We'll be back here next Wednesday at 12:15 for our next edition of Tiger Talk. Till then, for Coach Alex Nichols, Jessica Wood-Atkins, and Chris Brown, this is Gerard Welbrock. So long, everyone.
Tiger Talk, live from Tiger Club inside the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State Campus.